Welcome to Show and Tell 2. This time we're going to be debuting the new motor for the 53. As you know, the old one blew. It was the old one was kind of pieced together over the years, and it was a factory block filled with concrete, and we just tried to make it survive. And it wasn't actually a purpose-built motor. It was in the fact that we tried to make it be purpose-built, but everything on the motor was pretty much off-the-shelf stuff. I think the crank, rods, and piston were from like an eBay ad 10 years ago. So we knew it was a ticking time bomb, and it was like not even that, it was a grenade that we already pulled the pin. We just didn't know when. Once it blew, we had to come up with the next thing, and the next thing is to build an actual purpose-built motor. And that's where we started this with calling Ohio Crankshaft in Ohio, in Greenville, Ohio, and told them what I was looking to do, horsepower and everything else. And they gave me 3 or 4 different options. And out of those options, this one was the best with the parts supply currently. We could have probably done better, but unfortunately, some of these parts were 6 months out, and we really wanted to race this year. So we did somewhat of a compromise, but we really didn't compromise very much. I mean, this is going to be a purpose-built motor. When I called Ohio Crankshaft, I gave them what I was looking to do, weight of the car, what the car was. It was going to be a blower motor. I was looking for, approximately 1,000 to 1,200 horse, somewhere around there. 671 blower, what kind of compression I currently am at, and so on and so forth. And what we ended up coming up with was a 421 small block with a Motown block, Motown 2. I wanted to go with Dart, but the supply chain, again, it is what it is. I know some guys can't stand the Motown blocks that had some cracked webbing or in the early 2000s, but from what I understand, talking with Ohio Crankshaft, that's not been an issue with these sets of blocks now. So they've obviously fixed that. So we came up with a Motown 2 block. It's a 421 small block. It's got 4 155 piston, diamond pistons, H-beam rods from Ohio Crankshaft. The stroke on the crank is 3875, and the rod is the H6000 series that they developed with ARP fasteners throughout. Total seal rings and king bearings. And then I topped that off with, you have a Melling high flow oil pump and a Kevco oil pan, which is on nearly 2 gallons of oil going this. Plus, being an open chassis now, we had the extra room for extra capacity. Keep the oil cooler, hopefully make it survive a little longer. I've already kind of pre-assembled some of this while we were waiting on other parts so I could get it as far as I could go. We just got the cam in yesterday, and I went ahead and stabbed it in and got it degreed and checked for end play, so on and so forth. I also checked for pushrod length, which was one thing I knew I had to order. So I went ahead and ordered it yesterday. The only place I could find it is through Summit. So I had to buy their Summit brand push rods, the HDR extra thick. So the cam is a Crowder cam, and I called Crowder, told him what I had on the motor, what kind of boost I was looking for, horsepower, everything else, weight of the car, torque converter, transmission type, etc., etc. And they came up with it's a 296/306 duration advertised cam. With looks to be 651 and 680 on the lift with a 1.6 rocker arms. This was a custom grind by them, a little bit custom anyway, right off the shelf. It's a 950 base circle cam for the stroke to make sure that we don't have any issues with clearancing, which I've already checked when I stabbed it in. So that should work out well. I also got Crowder lifters from Crowder. They are the high performance. There's 3 or 4 different levels from Crowder. I got the one step below the bush lifters because I didn't have time to get the bushes to Ohio crankshaft for them to put it in. So this is the next best thing. It's they call them hippo lifters, where it's high pressure oiling of the bearings on the roller. What's coming from the old motor is the heads. They're Brodix Dragon Slayer heads. I bought these 2 years ago. They worked really well. The only thing I had to change is the springs. I had to go to a new pack spring for the cam. The cam recommended higher pressures on the spring rate, so I had to put, I think these are 1941s was the old ones, and 1225s is the new ones. So it's going to add about 100 pounds on the nose and 150 or 180 pounds fully open. They have the large intake and exhaust ports. The next thing that was coming from the other motor is going to be the head studs. They're all ARP. The only difference is I had to cut down the head studs to fit this block. This block does not have the head studs going all the way to the water jacket, so they're a blind hole, so I had to cut these studs down so that they wouldn't bottom out and stick outside of the head. So I cut them down approximately an inch is what the extra was, in order for them to sit flush, which I did all the measuring with the head on there. Also coming from the old motor is the Jezel rocker shaft system for the rockers. That's been a good unit. It's made specifically for those heads, so they fit really nice. The only thing I had to get, which I talked about a minute ago, was new push rods, because the Pushrod Lengths are 200 thousandths longer than the old motor in. Also coming from the old motor is the belt drive system from Jezel, sorry, and the crank support, and obviously the mid and front plates. I was getting Cometic head gaskets. Unfortunately, they're on back order. So these are actually for a 350. They wouldn't fit the bigger bore. This is my spare set. So I had to go with Felpro. I got the 1004s, Felpro. A lot of guys had good luck with these, so we're gonna run them if we have any issues. I've already got the Cometics on order. It's just gonna be another month or two before they come in. So I'll have them as spares, or if I decide to change them later. I also got intake gaskets. I always use the Felpro 1206. The intake has been matched for them. The intake has been matched for them, and also the heads have been matched, gasket matched. Nothing too aggressive, because in the future we're actually going to be replacing the intake when I go to methanol.